with her. Like she went down to Mexico with her cousin or to visit her cousin or something, and they ended up getting in trouble with like a cartel and some different things, whatever.
This was a movie theater movie.
So yeah, that I saw her in that, and it wasn't anything like super, raunchy or anything like that, but it wasn't like a just clean cut wholesome thing either. It was just a regular action flick. But in any case, back to that. Yeah, I'm not in favor of the trying to silence the word. 'Cause like I said, I feel like it gives it too much power. I'll never stop saying it.
I'm not gonna stop saying it.
I'm never gonna stop saying it. I feel like it's my birthright, and I have mixed feelings about it being said in mixed company, and like on this show, I feel like it's mixed. Now in the early days of this show, for what I don't know if we had any white listeners or not, but if we did, which I'm probably sure we had, I don't know if we had any regulars or not because none of them interacted with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little bit more comfortable saying it back then. But to be honest, now that we have some of our biggest fans are white people, I don't feel as comfortable saying it.
Because you don't want to alienate them.
I don't want to alienate them. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. I don't want them to, any of that. Because, when black people, when we say they get it, we understand, they understand.
Yeah.
And they don't, they don't have the same problems hearing it that, these good white people have. You know what I'm saying? They have, it's
nice
true.
thing.
It's true. You know what I mean? There's some things, tied to it or whatever. So.
Oh, Dino, nigga, please.
So not saying that, I don't, or we can't, we do, but I don't feel like we need to, but I don't,
I know what you
but
mean.
Even if it was an all black show and only black people, I still don't feel like we need to just like let them fly.
No, again, because words do have some value to them and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But just,
I want to save my niggas for when it's important.
right.
I grew up not being able. That's a word I was not allowed to say.
The N-word?
My mom did not know that was not allowed in the house. So
Really? Wow.
Like,
My mom-
that's not something that decent black people said.
Wow. My mom said it like Paul Mooney. 100 times a day, kept her teeth white. Now, my dad, on the other hand, I can count on one hand how many times I heard him say it.
Oh.
And every time I heard him say it, it was always, with the maybe exception of one or two times, but most of the time it was like he was retelling a story.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of how we say the N-word now,
Right.
he would just actually say it.
That's what.
But
they
he
said.
wasn't saying it, but he
Right.
was,
You
Saying
can't
it like it's
recall
somebody
it,
else
yeah.
said it.
right. And I don't think I've ever heard him like say it. And even maybe once or twice, and even then it was like in the past he was telling me, he said it. Like,
Right.
but in present tense, the present whatever, him saying it in casual conversation or calling somebody else that, no. But my mom, oh my God, yeah.
My mom didn't allow kids to cuss inside her house.
And
So
that's
nigga was a
cuss
cuss word.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's taboo. Yeah, my mom was like your dad.
Uh-huh.
She was only retelling a story or something like that.
Yeah.
But I have heard her in the last 10 years use it twice as a joke. And it was in my presence, which made me think that she only did it because she felt comfortable around me. Because she did say like nigga please as a joke. And it was pretty funny.
Yeah. My mom said the word, though. She said it. We just couldn't say it.
Oh, okay. Because like it was, like you said, because she treated it like a curse word.
Yeah.
So
And then she didn't say it. She never really had a reason to say it that much. But when she used it, she used it like a verb.
It's a word. I didn't start using it until I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
Because I had issues with the word for a minute. It's a word I liked hearing from people growing up because I would hear it at like the barbershop or at like the salon or.
Make you feel adult.
Yeah, it was cool the way they used it. Like again, languages can be cool, and I like the way they would curse and use all kinds of language. And then when I got to be educated and I was doing my thing, and I was also in a lot of mixed companies, and I was a lot of places where it just wasn't appropriate, and I was like, who am I going to be talking to like this? Because sometimes I'm the only black person or one of two, so I just didn't use it. And then when I got in my 30s, I was just was around. I found a black artist community in Chicago, and then we were all, once I saw that they were like regular folks themselves, then it was okay.
Yeah. I had to practice cursing because I was just not good at it. So I had to run through like all the basics first before I worked my way up to the N-word. That was like the cherry. or you could feel like, yeah, I could say it.
You had to practice cursing?
I did. Because it sounded like I was sneaking. It never sounded right.
I don't, that's funny you should say that. I don't think I had to practice, but, you know, I grew up, you know, quote unquote good kid, you know, PK, pastor's kid and all that. And when I became an adult and like my cousin, my grown up cousin who never heard me curse or whatever, you know, would hear me curse, whatever, she would be like, you don't even sound right. And it wasn't that I was doing it wrong. It's just that she wasn't used to hearing it from me, you know. So, yeah.
That's why in my early monologues, and even when I would perform it for my family, I always cursed at them. But I was like, it's just a character. It's just a character. This cab driver has a foul mouth. This is not me.
You sound like Chloe and Haley.
Who's Chloe and Haley?
Chloe and Haley, the girls from Grown-ish.
Okay.
The black sisters who pretend to be twins. They're not really twins. They're like 2 years apart.
I haven't seen any ish other than Blackish.
Well, they're good girls. You know, they're like, you're wholesome and all that, and they love playing on Grown-ish because they get to be bad. They're bad girls on, well, not bad girls, but you know, kind of round the way girls.
Oh wow!
You know, so they really like being on Black or Grown-ish because they get to curse and do all these things and be this way. That's like totally not them.
Sure.
Yeah,
just exactly what you just got through saying. It's a character. You know,
I will watch Mixed-ish, by the way, though. Because a girlfriend of mine's on there, and I can't. So
I've seen the first episode, but that's all. I was surprised that Mark Paul Gosselaar was in that. He has the lead role as the father.
Oh yes. He's
Zach Morris.
Yeah.
Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Sorry to anybody in the chat if you guys can't hear us. We're sorry. Somebody said there was no sound.
What? Maybe you have no sound.
Yeah, maybe it's just sound.
Yeah, I think it
may sound.
There should be sound.
Push up your volume button.
Turn your volume up.
Turn off the mute. But yeah.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
I'm just like, it's funny. It didn't make it into the thread because it was like kind of late breaking news. But there was a news article this week about a security officer at a high school who got fired for saying the N-word.
Yeah.
And he got fired. What happened actually was a student was saying that at him as he was ushering the student off the grounds because he was getting kicked out. And then he kept saying, stop calling me that. Stop calling me that. And then he finally said, stop calling me, and he said the word.
Right.
And then
we're talking about nigga, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he got fired even for saying what the student was saying because the school has a zero tolerance policy on the N-word.
We've had discussions about zero tolerance before, and I hate zero tolerance because that just means that you are too fucking lazy to make decisions. You don't want to have to mediate. You don't want to have to decide, is this situation valid? Is this one not valid? So you just say a blanket zero tolerance, which means that a situation like this where the man clearly should not be fired for saying, stop calling me nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And to fire him because that's zero tolerance is just it's just stupid. It's the worst policy that anybody has ever come up with. It's horrible. It's horrible and just asinine. I don't know how educators, grown people in the education system can stand behind well, I guess I do know why. It's because it takes the onus off of them.
Yeah.
They don't have to, like I said, that's the whole purpose of it, that they never have to take responsibility for any decision. It's just always, we just do this all the time, always, and it's never on us.
Yep. I don't understand how people can have zero tolerance for doing their job. Like, your job as the person who goes over the school or whatever is supposed to be the one that
it's people a cop-out.
The one that people go to for these situations. You're supposed to handle this situation. So by having zero tolerance for whatever the situation is means that you're not doing shit.
Yeah, it's a cop-out. It's a cop-out, so I don't have to do my job, and I never have to worry about taking heat for any decisions that I make, because I don't have to make any decisions.
I don't have to hurt nobody's feelings. Actually, I do have to hurt people's feelings,
it's right here.
I don't got to feel bad.
The policy is written right here, and all I have to do is point to this, and it says this, and it says zero tolerance, so that means anytime this word is uttered in any kind of context, and like, well, once again, Pip, what we started off the show talking about context means everything, and these people have totally taken it out and just put a blanket 0 and then it's just fucking ignorance.
This would be the exact same thing to me as if like a student had a gun and that security guard took the gun away from him and then they fired the security guard for having a gun.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes, you are right. That is a perfect example in the exact same thing.
Yep.
0 tolerance for any firearms on campus. And when he took that firearm, he possessed it, so he's got to go. Right. It's the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb as shit. Ignorant ass fucks. I wonder why the fucking schools are going to hell. Look who's leading the parade.
Man. Shit. 0 tolerance.
Burns my ass every time I think about it. So, still on race, but in a little different context here. White clubs versus black clubs.
What do you mean clubs?
Well, I brought this up just because way back when we had a discussion one time in passing, we were talking about comedy clubs, and I mentioned that such and such club was a white club, and black clubs are different because of this, that, and other thing or whatever. However it came up. And some people got a little offended. And I think Jason was one person. I don't know if he got I don't know want to say offended. I know he doesn't like the term white clubs, like white comedy clubs and things like that. And I understand it, but maybe I can kind of explain it and make it a little bit more clear for him. So first of all, when we say white club, we don't mean that it's a club that's racist or that's a club that denies access to black people or as customers or as comedians. We don't mean that. That's not what it means at all. What it means when we say white club is like saying, like how Pip has said in the past on the show, even recently, like, things, how we think of things in the default sort of way. Well, white people are the majority and they're what's called the dominant culture, right? They're the ones who is the more of them and they are in control and in power, whatever, for the most part. Not saying a negative or positive or whatever. They're just saying facts. Those are facts. Right.
That's why when they on the news, when something happens, if it's a white man, they say a 45-year-old man. If it's a black man, they say a 45-year-old black man.
Right. So when we say white club, we just mean in the sense that it in a default kind of way, that because it's not a black club or a Latin club or a gay club, it's therefore a white club, because that's the default. Just like if you go to Mexico, I'm sure they don't have any clubs called Mexican clubs, right? They just don't, because that's the default.
They don't clubs.
It's just called they're clubs, right? And if if a white guy goes down there and starts the club that's for white people or mostly white people patronage, they'll call that a white club,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or a black club or whatever. In Jamaica, I'm sure there's no black clubs in Jamaica. There's just clubs.
Yeah.
So first of all, that's how we mean it. We don't mean it in a negative sense that that white people are trying to keep black people out or keep black people down or anything.
No, that's not what it means.
It just means mainstream. Yeah. That's basically what it means. It's mainstream.
Who goes there?
Who's owned and operated and run by and for predominantly.
Who patronizes that place? Majority.
Right.
What am I saying? Majoritatively.
Majority. Who is the majority of it? Yeah. You're right. Who are the patrons? How about that?
So I just wanted to kind of clear that, because I know it was a long time ago, but we never really circled back, and I heard him kind of say some things on the show, whatever, and then his sister hit me up one time. That's way back when she used to listen to the show, and so I knew it was kind of a thing, and I just kind of wanted to, and especially at the time, I couldn't really articulate what I was, but I had time to think about it since then. I was like, so I was able to, put it in. You guys can co-sign what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I all I've been thinking about this whole time you're talking about this, though, I'm thinking about that Chelsea Handler at Netflix documentary that I saw about white privilege. And it's so funny because you're going out of your way, Dino, as a black man, to make these white people feel so comfortable. And I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable, white people, but it is so. It's so weird that you would take it negatively.
I get it.
Or that it would be a problem for you. I know in your heart of hearts what you're really saying is it's a shame that we have to have separation of
right.
things. But it's not even negative in that way. The reason why these clubs have been set up is really just a matter of, again, who the audience that they're catering to, because there are cultural differences. There just are. And it's all